hype behind this anime because of a certain anime character with a blue ribbon and a huge amount of fan service. Hello everyone, I'm Joe and Newin. Welcome to another edition of Newin Anime Review. In this episode, DanMachi, also known as, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
To keep it simple, I'm going to refer to the show as DanMachi since the title is shorter. A long time ago, gods from the heavens decided it was time for them to have some excitement in their life, so they went down to the world to live with the inhabitants below. Now this world has a place known as a dungeon, where creatures when slayed by adventurers drop shards which can be exchanged for many things in this world. Belcrano was one of these adventures. He goes on these adventures in the dungeon in order to improve himself. He's not trying to pick up girls intentionally, but he does think the stronger he gets, he'll move closer to the girl he looks up to, Eyes Wallenstein. Accompanying Bell is his goddess, Hestia, who helps him with his stats and management. The show really has nothing to do with picking up girls in a dungeon, but more of an underdog story to reach your goals.
The story is rather generic to begin with. A protagonist goes out of his way to challenge himself in order to improve himself, to get those around him to notice him. The big overarching problem that I find with DanMachi is the world that the story takes place in needs a better explanation. After doing some extra research on the internet, I do find out the world that they live in is real, and it just has RPG elements. They didn't really explain how this comes to pass. They just say it's real world with RPG elements. And it feels like kind of a cop-out because all they explained was that gods came down into this world, and that's it. They don't expand on that. The plot overall is average. It's nothing special, but it's not bad. The lore needs a bit of work, and it doesn't help that the story is kind of generic.
Belcrano is our main protagonist of DanMachi, and he literally fulfills the job criteria of almost every protagonist in this type of genre. Is he weak, but gets stronger as the series progresses? Yes. Is he a nice guy? Yes. Is he somewhat good looking teenage boy? Yes. Does he attract a lot of girls along the way? Yes. And is he oblivious to the obvious surrounding girls who want him already? Yes. Now to be fair, I like Bell as a protagonist. He's not a douche as the title would have suggested him going into dungeons to pick up girls for his own enjoyment. I do like how the story centers around Bell, and we get to see him really grow as the series went on. But perhaps the reason he grows a bit slow is because he's completely naive and trusts everyone despite how they look. Hestia is Bell's goddess, and he is her familiar. Apart from being the character for her iconic blue ribbon and a ton of amount of fan service, she fulfills the role as the main female protagonist. She has a thing for Bell and gets overly jealous for all the other girls he obliviously attracts. As the series goes on, there isn't really much development for her, other than that the fact that she starts off worried about Bell, but starts to have more confidence in him later on. So it's a shame for a character with that much hype to be underdeveloped, but then again, she was hyped for the ribbon.
Unfortunately, the main cast isn't all that interesting compared to their supporting cast. Each supporting character has a purpose, as they all play a role in leveling up Bell. Each supporting cast character's backstory was interesting for the time they had, and it was important to the storyline as well. Eyes Wallenstein is Bell's driving force to become stronger. Lily, not only being Bell's supporter, helps him grow as a leader. And Welf Krauser is the big brother type that Bell needed to help him keep moving forward. The supporting cast get their fair share of screen time. However, as a general overview of the whole cast, I must say, it's not a really strong cast. Sure, they fulfilled their roles and are interesting in some ways, but there wasn't anyone you could really delve really deep into. There wasn't really anyone that caught my eye.
Here is where DanMachi shines the brightest. The animation for the fight scenes in DanMachi look incredible. It is well animated and well polished. It moves smoothly and looks clean. What I like about the animation is that we get enough of it to be well entertained. It doesn't go by quickly, but at the same time it doesn't drag too long. The art design is clean as well. It really fits that bright fantasy world setting. Each character has unique designs, but that being said, unfortunately I find the monster designs kind of generic. They come in a range of typical fantasy creatures with very generic looking designs, and they give them red glowing eyes to signify it's a monster. But this only applies to common monsters. I do like the designs of the boss monsters. They look cool. Throw those in with amazing fight scenes and you have an epic anime sequence.
As for the soundtrack of DanMachi, I can say it does its job well. You get a lot of violins and pianos here and there, and there's a really good accordion track in the bar scenes, which is really nice to have in the fantasy genre. It really makes you feel like you were in the fantasy world. However, I didn't find anything really outstanding in the soundtrack. Even for the epic fight scenes, the soundtrack didn't sound suspenseful enough. It should have been more intense as if the protagonist was gonna lose. For the opening and ending songs of DanMachi, I can say they're quite catchy, and the animation that goes with them is quite cute as well. I've seen many shows like this before. It's rather typical and generic. The story is rather basic and the characters as a whole aren't all that interesting. Individually, they're fine, there just need to be more out of them. The most enjoyment I got out of watching the show was the action scenes and the gorgeous visuals of the world. And as a fantasy lover, it's really nice to see that world. The show, besides the concept and the title, isn't really breathtaking as a whole.
For the story of DanMachi, I give it a 5, as I believe it's an average story at best. It's been done many times, and don't get me wrong, it's pulled it off well and was evenly paced. But it's so generic, you most likely seen it many times. Plus, the whole lore behind the world is vaguely explained. For animation and sound, I give it a 9 and 6 respectively. The animation is incredible to look at. It really depicts the fantasy world very well. The action scenes look good and the design of the characters and bosses look good. It was just common creatures that were lacking. The soundtrack does a decent job of fitting in with the fantasy theme, but it was really lacking anything special. The opening and end themes were catchy and cute enough. The characters of DanMachi get a 6 from me, as they are generic, but without them, the story wouldn't be nearly as good as it could have been. Each character had a purpose of helping Belle grow, but that is all there is to them. There wasn't really any character that stood out from the crowd. No one was really special. For my own personal enjoyment, I give it a 7, as I've seen many depictions of this type of genre before. The story is really basic and the characters are lacking a spark to them. However, I enjoyed seeing the world that was created. Through the visuals, being a fan of the fantasy genre. I wish they explained more on the world, as that was something I found a bit confusing, seeing how everything worked. But I got enough dose of action when it came to the fight scenes, as there was plenty of them and they were well paced. For the overall score, after rounding it all up, I give DanMachi a 6.5 out of 10. It has a basic plot and generic set of characters who have their moments. The soundtrack's nothing special, but it's the animation that pushes it forward. The depiction of the fantasy world and the action scenes were the best thing about the series. I recommend this anime to fantasy fans as the world is gorgeous to look at, but for the rest, there have been many other shows that have done it better.
Well, that's it for this edition of Newin Anime Review. If you want to read the written review, link is down below in the description, straight to my anime list. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. If you come here, go watch another video. And with that all said and done, I'll answer you this question. Is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Well, if you're saving them, then no. Sayonara!
大丈夫ですか？